Brought to you by Moose Milling and Zambia Catholic University.
Radio Ichangelo, restoring everything in Christ with love and truth. Good afternoon with the main news. I'm Clara Tsenga. The headlines. Some parents in Chilabombwe welcome the government's decision to extend the reopening of schools. Indiscriminate disposal of waste worries Wuntungwa residents and respond to God's call. Now the news in detail, and kindly be informed that we are also streaming live on the Radio Ichangelo Facebook page. Some parents in Chilabombwe have welcomed the government's decision to extend the reopening of schools by 2 weeks. The schools were initially planned to reopen today, but President Edgar Lungu directed the schools should resume on February 1, 2021 in order to create a safe learning environment in view of the second wave of COVID-19. The parents are now calling on government to equip schools with the much needed material used to combat COVID-19. Speaking to Radio Ichangelo News in Chilabombwe, other parents, however, regretted that the extension of the reopening of schools has continued to disrupt the academic calendar.
Kutachifuta chisalenyi abana baleonaika ababa last year bose bambya begita bakolere ku masukulu bambalipulira amapafu bambalibeni bakakwalala bambalipulira mu nshaka shimbi nomba tudefora muri uno mwaka twanyira mu 2021 abana amasukulu nga bayisura batwalirire ero amaba besale amachechi betwisalira P1 ni lesa
bale ya masukulu bale sambira na social distance iwepo bale fara ma face mask nama andi sanitizer laini wale bika pasku so that abana bale bako entertain ku masambiriro nekizale concentrate kuangalisha tumushi ikichana nacho bipa abana bale onali
kuba agatachiri wino kulingana kwe bati umwana nga abafye banganda kulegera irabwera takulu wala msambisha ifa bafya kuti wasambisha bati bali busana kone ku school eba de ibi ngatwasha kungana da kumanchitu yakuile futi kulele kupabeka ifa bana bale bomba futi again twasanga futi ulele twasenda twatala futi kulele.
Meanwhile, in a separate interview, the Kitwe District Private Schools Association has welcomed the extension. Association Secretary Nebet Zilingas, however, asked statutory bodies to also consider extending the deadline to pay statutory obligations for private schools who make money through school fees payment, which has been delayed due to the extension of the reopening.
Move and would like to urge our association members to take advantage of this extended period in making sure that they put in place stringent COVID-19 measures so that we can be able to safeguard children once they start learning and once schools are opened. And secondly, we wish to make a very earnest appeal to statutory bodies such as Kitwe City Council, NAPSA, ZRA, Air Workers Compensation, and other statutory bodies to equally extend the deadline for private schools to meet these very important statutory obligations. As we are aware, private schools do not get any grants from any other bodies.
The continued shortage of fuel has caught the attention of the Opposition United Party for National Development, UPND, in Kitwe District. As of this morning, most filling stations in Kitwe had no petrol, and the development is worried. UPND Kitwe District Chairperson Elvis Nkandu, who said there was need to ensure that there is adequate fuel supply. In a statement to Radio Ichangelo News, Mr. Nkandu said fuel shortage has an adverse effect on production.
The fuel now has been a problem to this country. There's a shortage of fuel. No one should deny that. And this is what we've been talking about all along, that this shortage, if it is not handled properly, it will culminate into a crisis. Now, this is a crisis. So, to Papa San, making sure that moving fuel available to the people so that one to access this fuel. And like don't look like queuing, meaning production in Yalaba low.
The indiscriminate disposal of garbage by some Buntungo residents in Kichwa's Chimwemwe Township has caught the attention of a civic leader in the area. And some residents are concerned with the heap of garbage on a land reported to be for a named church in Buntungwa Ward. In an interview with Radio Chengela News, the residents want the garbage to be cleared, saying it may cause an outbreak of diarrhea or diseases, especially during this rainy season.
Yenchenge vakanisa kuire vatu vafirisha pakuti munokwevati pavasaniti and order tulefaya muvafirisha kufuma kuri kwomutego kutwafe paliino inechende pakuti ivokwevati tapadesangwa ayamanwere arafuma pano kaitapadesangwa ukupose ngwani panopeni ifishalo fifilipona ayamanwere yeshidaya ngakashimwe mutego twala kutukira kwisa fwebere tuwalikosapo ukuiwane noma twanaka vanhu ngavesa kusaifisonse ngatetisangwe usheine mazembe na tipe avene usheni vaya upiwina ngulani vati momo constituency vanhu achivanga chavati momo constituency ngachirese kusamudza chani mukukusetifine ngatatoesangwa malwere.
And Buntungwa Ward Councillor William Nyirenda has promised that the garbage will be cleared this week following his engagement with officers from the Public Health Department at Kitwe City Council. Councillor Nyirenda has since called for proper disposal of waste.
That here is a Tuesday, na Thursday, to cause a few episodes to pose. Don't know what it is so tomorrow when I can't take the power clean because that's how.
Government has implored the police command on the Copperbelt to work with other security wings in the region in a bid to curtail illegal activities. Speaking when newly appointed Copperbelt Police Commissioner Elias Choshi paid a courtesy call on him at his office, Provincial Permanent Secretary Bright Nundwe said the police should afford professionalism as the country heads towards a pause this year. And Mr. Nundwe has implored the police not to be biased in their operations as the province is working towards enhancing peace.
I want teamwork on the government, teamwork, collaboration, consultativeness, every single moment. I don't expect unnecessary biasness. I want you to be above board with your team. I want unity, total unity on the Copperbelt side.
Pope Francis says the greatest joy for every believer is to respond to God's call. The Holy Father says there are different ways of carrying out the plan that God has for mankind. Is love, and the greatest joy is found when one offers his life in service to God's call. According to the Catholic News Urgency website, Pope Francis said that each time that God calls someone, it is an initiative of his love. Speaking in his Angelus address, Pope Francis added that God calls the faithful to life, faith, and calls to a particular state in life. This news broadcaster comes to you in the community service of Radio Chengela with the compliments of Moose Milling and the Zambia Catholic University. And now the international news is monitored from the BBC. Tensions are rising sharply in Somalia as the country's fragile political system wrestles with a bitterly contested election process, with the withdrawal of some vital U.S. military forces and renewed concerns about an increasingly well-researched militant Islamist insurgency. Diplomats and observers are warning that the country, 3 decades after it collapsed into anarchy, is once again at a crossroads with recent progress on rebuilding a shattered state now at risk. UN Secretary General's Special Representative James Swan told the BBC that torturing and brinkmanship by the country's national and regional leaders as they argue over a delayed and watered-down parliamentary election process could lead to violence. The United States and several European governments have demanded the release of opposition politician Alexei Navalny from Russian detention. Mr. Navalny, 44, was detained by police soon after his flight from Germany landed in Moscow. He was returning to the country 5 months after he was almost killed in a nerve-urgent attack he blamed on the Russian authorities, which Moscow denied any role. Rescuers say 12 miners are trapped underground after an explosion in a Chinese gold mine a week ago are still alive. State media reports the workers managed to send a note saying, "Don't stop trying to reach us," to rescuers 7 days after the accident. The fate of another 10 miners missing after the explosion remains unclear. Mining accidents in China are not uncommon and are often due to poorly enforced safety regulations. To end the main news, a reminder on the headlines. Parents in Chilabumwe welcome the government's decision to extend the reopening of schools. Indiscriminate disposal of waste worries Wuntungwa residents. And Christians have been challenged to respond to God's call. And then we end the main news. Good afternoon.